George was 73 when he fell 3 times in just 6 months. The last fall fractured his hip. The one before that? It left him shaken, afraid to leave his own house. His daughter began researching assisted living, but George made a full recovery. Not because of a new medication, not because of a personal trainer, he simply changed the way he walked. As a physical therapist who has worked with hundreds of older adults, I can tell you, most falls aren't random, they're preventable. In fact, research shows that 87% of falls after age 60 happen not while walking straight, but during moments of transition like turning, standing up, or stepping from carpet to tile. Today, I'll walk you through 7 powerful fixes I recommend to every senior patient. They're simple, practical, and proven to reduce fall risk and restore confidence. Stay with me till the end because the last one may surprise you. It's a move most seniors do backwards every single day and don't even realize it. Which one of these changes have you already tried or never even heard of? Drop your answer in the comments below. You might help someone stay on their feet. Let's begin with a shift that has nothing to do with your feet and everything to do with where you're looking. 1. Look where you're going, not just at the ground. When I evaluate an older adult who struggles with balance or has recently experienced a fall, one of the first things I look at is not their feet, but their eyes. That's right. Your gaze, where you tend to look while walking, plays a surprisingly powerful role in your overall stability. Most seniors I work with tell me the same thing. I always look down so I don't trip. It feels logical. You want to see what's in front of you. But the truth is, this habit can quietly work against you. Looking straight down shifts your head forward, causes your shoulders to round, and throws off your body's alignment. It also restricts how much visual input your balance system can process. In short, it limits the information your brain needs to keep you steady. That's why I teach a method called the 3-point gaze. It's simple, effective, and often feels like a breakthrough moment for my patients. Instead of looking at the ground just a few feet ahead, I coach them to look about 10 to 15 feet forward. This gives your brain a broader, more useful view of the path ahead. Next, I encourage them to occasionally lift their gaze even further, to the horizon or a visual target in the distance. This naturally aligns your posture and resets your sense of orientation. And finally, I guide them to become more aware of their side vision. Peripheral awareness helps detect motion and obstacles without needing to turn the head. George was hesitant when we first practiced this. He felt like he'd trip if he didn't constantly monitor the ground. But within a week of walking this way, eyes up, posture aligned, he noticed the difference. He felt taller. He breathed easier. He walked more confidently. And most importantly, he stopped shuffling. These aren't just my observations. A clinical study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity showed that older adults who trained their gaze experienced better postural control and faster reaction times when facing unexpected hazards. If you found yourself walking with your eyes glued to the floor, you're not alone. Do you tend to look down while walking? Type "guilty" in the comments. The first step to better balance is simply noticing it. Next, let's look at what your feet are doing and why so many seniors lose their natural walking rhythm without realizing it. Second step, heel to toe, not flat or tiptoed. When was the last time you really paid attention to how your foot touches the ground? For most of us, walking is automatic. We don't think about it. But over time, especially as we age, subtle changes creep in. Changes that can quietly disrupt balance and increase the risk of falling. Many older adults I treat have developed what we call a flat-footed walking pattern. Instead of the heel touching down first, the entire foot lands at once. Others begin to walk toe first without realizing it. Both of these patterns are less stable and more fatiguing. They disrupt the body's natural shock absorption system and reduce the smooth transfer of weight that keeps you upright. The good news is that walking safely is not about taking bigger steps or walking faster. It's about restoring your body's original movement pattern. That pattern is known as the heel-to-toe roll. Here's how it works. As you step forward, your heel should make first contact with the ground. Then your weight should gently roll along the outer edge of your foot toward the ball of your foot, finishing with a light push-off from your toes. This creates a triangle of support and allows your ankles to absorb impact the way they were designed to. George, the patient we met earlier, had been walking flat-footed for years. When we first practiced heel-to-toe walking, he said it felt awkward, almost exaggerated. But after 2 weeks of practicing along a hallway at home, he started to feel more in control. His gait smoothed out, his ankles stopped aching, and for the first time in months, he walked across the grocery store without holding on to a cart. This isn't just anecdotal. Decades of gait analysis research confirm that heel-to-toe movement improves postural control, reduces fall risk, and even helps reduce strain on joints like the knees and hips. If your balance has felt off lately, try this. Take 5 steps, slowly, in a straight line. Make sure your heel hits first, then roll forward to your toes. Pay attention to how it feels. Many of my patients notice the difference immediately. Did it feel smoother or steadier than usual? Type "smooth" in the comments if you noticed even a small improvement. In the next part, we'll talk about something most people never associate with walking, but it's one of the most important stabilizers you have: your core muscles. 3. Use your core. It's more than just your abs. When people hear the word core, they often picture young athletes doing sit-ups or planks at the gym. But in reality, your core has nothing to do with aesthetics and everything to do with stability, especially as we get older. As a therapist, I often ask my senior patients a simple question. Do you think about your core when you walk? Almost always the answer is no. But here's what many don't realize. Your core muscles, which include the deep abdominal muscles, lower back muscles, and pelvic stabilizers, are your body's internal support system. They help keep you upright, absorb shock, and maintain balance with every single step. And when they're not engaged, the rest of your body, especially your hips and knees, has to work much harder to keep you steady. Most older adults develop what I call a loose middle. The belly relaxes, the pelvis shifts forward, and walking begins to feel less controlled. Over time, this can lead to sway, wobbly steps, and increased fall risk, especially on uneven surfaces like driveways, sidewalks, or grassy yards. The solution doesn't require crunches or complicated workouts. It's something I teach all my patients, and I call it the zip-up technique. It begins by simply drawing your belly button in slightly toward your spine, as if zipping up a pair of pants. You're not sucking in your stomach forcefully, you're activating the deep muscles gently, about 20 to 30% of your full effort. It should feel like a soft, internal brace. You should still be able to breathe and talk normally. George found this difficult at first. He kept forgetting to do it, especially during daily tasks like walking from the kitchen to the garage, so we came up with a simple solution. He placed small colored dot stickers in a few places around his home, on the fridge, by the front door, even on the bathroom mirror. Every time he saw one, it reminded him to activate his core for just 1 minute. After 3 weeks, it became second nature. Not only did he feel more stable, but his lower back pain, something he'd lived with for years, started to fade. And when he walked, his steps felt firmer and more deliberate. Research from the National Institute on Aging has shown that core engagement can significantly reduce fall risk, especially during sudden movements or slips. It also improves postural control and helps protect the spine. Have you ever noticed your midsection go completely slack when you walk? Take a moment right now to gently zip it up and walk across the room. Did you feel more steady? Let me know in the comments. And next, let's explore a part of your walking pattern that's been with you since childhood, but may have disappeared without you realizing it: the way you move your arms. 4. Let your arms move, not just your legs. If you've ever watched a young child walk, you'll notice something fascinating. Their arms swing freely at their sides, gently counterbalancing every step. This natural motion isn't taught, it's instinctive. And it plays a crucial role in keeping the body stable. But over time, especially past the age of 60, that natural arm swing begins to disappear. In my practice, I've seen it again and again. Seniors walk with their arms stiffly pinned to their sides or even clasped in front of their torso. Many don't even realize they're doing it. They may have learned to restrict their movement because of fear, discomfort, or habit. But the result is the same: decreased balance, greater fatigue, and a higher risk of falling. Your arms are more than passengers during a walk. They're part of your body's built-in stabilizing system. When one leg moves forward, the opposite arm should move with it. This motion keeps your torso from rotating too much and helps distribute weight evenly with each step. I teach my patients a simple rule: relax your shoulders, bend your elbows to about 45 degrees, and let your arms swing naturally front to back, not side to side. Your hands should move gently near your hips, cross over your body. George didn't realize how still his arms had become until his daughter pointed it out. Once he began swinging them naturally again, walking felt lighter, almost like gliding. She said, "Dad, you look lighter, like you're walking with purpose again." It wasn't just about posture, it was about confidence. In fact, gait researchers at the University of Michigan found that restoring natural arm swing improves walking efficiency by up to 8% and reduces recovery time after a stumble. It also signals to the brain that the body is in rhythm and safe to move forward. Try this the next time you go for a walk. Consciously relax your shoulders, bend your elbows, and let your arms swing with each step. You may be surprised how much more natural and balanced it feels. Do your arms usually swing when you walk or stay stiff? Let me know in the comments. Now let's move down to the very foundation of your walking pattern: your feet and the shoes you trust to support them every day. 5. Fix what's under you: shoes and stronger feet. One of the most overlooked causes of poor balance in older adults isn't the knees, hips, or even the spine. It's the feet and what we put on them. As we age, the nerve endings in our feet begin to lose sensitivity. This process, called peripheral neuropathy, is common and subtle. You may not feel numbness, but your feet may stop accurately detecting the surface beneath you. At the same time, the small muscles in your feet, those responsible for gripping, adjusting, and stabilizing, can weaken after years of being confined in cushioned shoes. Now consider this. Many seniors wear thick-soled, slip-on shoes because they seem comfortable and easy to put on. But these types of shoes actually reduce ground feedback. They act like pillows under your feet, muting the information your brain needs to stay upright. I often tell patients, your feet are sensors. The wrong shoes cut off the signal. That's why I recommend shoes with 3 key qualities: a low but firm heel, a flexible sole at the front for better ground contact, and a secure fit, using laces or sturdy Velcro. Slip-ons may feel convenient, but they compromise control. You wouldn't drive with a loose steering wheel. Don't walk in shoes that slide. Alongside better footwear, we also train the feet themselves. Even small exercises can improve strength and control. George started with a towel under his toes. While seated, He'd curl his toes and pull the towel toward him. We later added a bowl of marbles for him to pick up with his feet. It sounds simple, but after just a few weeks, his feet felt more alive, more responsive. He noticed he could walk barefoot on grass without stumbling. A study from the Journal of Podiatric Medicine found that daily foot-strengthening exercises improved balance by up to 30% in older adults. The participants also reported greater confidence walking on uneven ground. Take a look at your shoes right now. Are they helping or hurting your balance? And ask yourself this: when was the last time you gave your feet a workout? In the next part, we'll adjust how your feet move in relation to each other and how a few inches of spacing can completely transform your stability. 6. Widen your base. Stop walking like you're on a tightrope. Have you ever watched someone walk and noticed their steps cross over each other, almost as if they're balancing on a narrow beam? It may look cautious, but walking this way can actually make you more likely to fall, especially as you get older. One of the most common walking mistakes I see in older adults is stepping with the feet too close together. This habit often develops gradually. Sometimes it's a result of trying to walk straight or minimize movement. But over time, the walking path narrows, reducing your base of support. Think of your feet like the legs of a stool. The closer they are together, the easier it is to tip over. Widen them and suddenly the entire structure becomes more stable. It's the same with your body. That's why I teach what we call the stability rectangle, walking with your feet positioned roughly hip-width apart, not crossing over your midline. This creates a solid, rectangular foundation with every step. George, like many of my patients, didn't even realize he was walking on a tightrope. His steps were nearly overlapping. When I showed him video footage of his gait, he was shocked. He said, "No wonder I've been feeling wobbly." We practiced a simple drill. George placed 2 strips of painter's tape down his hallway floor, spaced about shoulder width apart. Every day, he'd walk that hallway, making sure each foot landed cleanly within its own lane. After just 2 weeks, the new pattern began to feel automatic. He later told me that walking in parking lots and on gravel paths felt easier, less nerve-wracking. That small adjustment, just a few inches of spacing, made a big difference in his day-to-day confidence. There's strong science behind this as well. A gait analysis study from Johns Hopkins showed that walking with proper step width reduces side-to-side sway by up to 40% in seniors. It also lessens the need for exaggerated arm movements to stay balanced. Try paying attention to your step width the next time you're walking to your mailbox or through a grocery store. Are your feet staying too close together, or do they follow their own parallel paths? You can visualize it like this. Imagine walking on 2 railroad tracks. Your right foot stays on the right rail, your left on the left. That image alone helps many of my patients adjust their stride without needing to constantly look down. Have you ever noticed your feet crossing over each other? If so, you're not alone, but you can retrain this pattern starting today. Now that your stride is more stable, let's address the moment where most falls actually happen, not while walking forward, but during the small shifts and turns in between. That's where we're headed next. 7. Pause before you turn. Mastering transitions. When most people think about fall prevention, they focus on straight-line walking. They imagine tripping on a crack in the sidewalk or slipping on a wet floor. But the reality is this: the majority of falls I see in older adults don't happen while walking forward. They happen in the moments between movements. We call these transition moments. It's when you turn to grab something, rise from a chair, step sideways through a doorway, or switch from carpet to tile. These small shifts can quietly catch the body off guard, especially if your balance system doesn't have time to adjust. As a physical therapist, I pay close attention to how my patients move during these moments. And one of the most effective tools I teach is something simple but powerful: the 3-second pause. Before changing direction, take a brief pause, stabilize your stance. Re-engage your core. Focus your eyes on where you're headed, then move. I call this the pause, prepare, proceed method. George, the patient we've followed throughout this journey, used to twist his upper body while his feet remained planted, especially when turning in the kitchen or navigating narrow doorways. He wasn't rushing, but he also wasn't giving his body time to shift safely. Once we introduced the 3-second pause, everything changed. He began stopping briefly at each turning point, stabilizing his posture, and then stepping intentionally into the new direction. He even placed small red stickers at a few key transition points in his house, near the edge of his favorite chair, the corner by his stairs, and the entrance to his bathroom. These served as gentle visual reminders to slow down and reset. After a few weeks, the pause became automatic. George no longer needed the stickers. But what remained was something more valuable: confidence in his movement. Research from the Oregon Health and Science University shows that up to 87% of falls in adults over 65 occur during transitions. But when participants practiced deliberate pausing before turning, their fall rate was cut nearly in half. It's one of the most effective fall prevention strategies we have, and one of the easiest to implement. Next time you get up from the couch or step around a corner, pause, just for a second. Let your body catch up with your intentions. It might be the most protective step you take all day. Have you ever felt off balance during a turn or quick movement? What happened? Share your experience in the comments below. You might help someone else feel less alone and more prepared. Let's now bring everything together and close with one final message. Walking is freedom. It's how we stay connected to the world, to the people we love, and to the simple joys of everyday life. But after 60, that freedom can feel fragile. A single fall can change everything. The techniques we've talked about today, from where you look to how your foot lands, to the way you pause before turning, aren't just exercises, they're habits. Habits that retrain your body and rebuild your confidence. You don't need to change everything at once. Start with one. Practice it each day. Let your body relearn what it already knows deep down, how to move safely, steadily, and with purpose. What does walking mean to you at this stage in life? Has a fall or close call changed the way you move? Share your experience in the comments. You never know who might feel less alone because of your story. Leave a comment below. And if this helped you, subscribe to join thousands of others who are choosing to walk stronger, not just longer. Your next step could be your safest yet.